Hi, I'm Dr. Richard Jermyn, Dean of the Rowan-Virtua School of Osteopathic Medicine. Welcome to Dialogue with the Dean, our podcast series dedicated to highlighting the thought leaders who are advancing the mission of our medical school. Our mission is to foster innovation, excellence in education, and transformative healthcare practices. Today, we are thrilled to have Dr. James Bailey, Director of the Rowan-Virtua School of Osteopathic Medicine's NeuroMusculoskeletal Institute, also known as the NMI, and Chair of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, where his practice focuses on chronic pain management, opioid addiction, and treatments with osteopathic manipulation. His research interests include alternative methods for chronic pain management and osteopathic manipulative treatments. Dr. Bailey is a two-time recipient of the Golden Apple Award and authored a textbook chapter on musculoskeletal medicine in current diagnosis and treatment of physical medicine and rehabilitation. Welcome, Dr. Bailey. It's such a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you, Dr. Jermyn. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, let's just get started. What is the NMI and what's involved in, I would say, first of all, what do you do clinically? And then what do you do educationally?
So the NMI, it's a very unique department. I don't think it really exists in many ways in other institutions. We're a department that really houses two other departments. So we have the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation as well as Osteopathic Manipulative Medicine. And faculty within those departments treat patients with a variety of different chronic pain or musculoskeletal conditions or rehab conditions and with multimodal approaches. We offer services such as chronic pain treatment with opiates, chronic pain treatment without opiates, osteopathic manipulation, addiction for substance use disorder treatment, as well as headache, sports medicine, ultrasound-based interventions. So I would say we offer a huge array, as well as electrodiagnostics, or what patients routinely know as EMG.
So one of the things I think you focus on is both traditional treatments, but you also do some holistic treatments too. What's involved in your holistic management?
We do. So we're not just treating. We'll take substance use or chronic pain management treatments, for instance. We are not just the prescribers of medication. We're looking at patients holistically because we might be the first people or the first providers that are actually able to do that for that patient population. Within our practice, we try to find the root cause of what patients' symptoms are. And from there, then we can really, I would say, individually tailor a treatment for them. For our substance use population, embedded within the treatment that includes medications, we have mental health providers, we have peer coaches in our office, so people who have been where our patients are and know what they're going through and can help and offer them advice on how to move through difficult situations. We have psychiatric nurse practitioner, a social worker, as well as a patient navigator, all, I'd say, different levels of support that make the patients understand that we are there for them and that we have open lines of communication and are, I would say, available for care at any points in their treatment plan.
Now, I know for a while now you've been doing some acupuncture at the NMI in one of your divisions, but you're also branching out into music and art also? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So within our Sewell office, we have Dr. Alex King, who offers acupuncture to patients. And that has been a game changer for a lot of our patients because regardless of why they're coming in or from what other treatments they've had, many have not tried this before, and it's a huge, I would say, beneficial adjunct into their treatment plan. I receive it myself, and I can attest to that. Regarding music and art, we are heavily involved with the George Center for Healing with Dr. Jim George, who donated a lot of art to our Sewell campus and is working, believe it or not, with Dr. Alex King on how to curate a collection for the Vineland campus. Regarding music medicine, it is, I would say, becoming more prevalent in that we're working with some of our other faculty, Dr. Jeff Powers, in offering I would say sessions like drum circles or even music lessons that students can offer our patients to get patients more involved and really I would say, take their mind off of their current medical conditions or symptoms to allow them to kind of express themselves in a new way and kind of feel productive in other ways.
Now, a couple minutes ago, you mentioned that you were starting a new office in Vineland. Why Vineland? Why is that important, and what are you going to be offering there?
So Vineland is in Cumberland County, New Jersey, southwestern New Jersey, and as a native of South Jersey, I can attest that the population of South Jersey is widely underserved medically, especially in Cumberland County. I'm from Cape May County, but the Cumberland County statistics, the patients just don't have access to get the care that they need, or they could potentially be distrustful of medicine in that area because of past experiences. So I really hope bringing academic medicine down to Cumberland County will help change that aspect. Within our Vineland office, we're really going to be focusing on addiction, substance use disorder treatment, because it is extremely prevalent within that area.
And I also want to credit you. You really house a very large amount of extramural funding and research. And I don't know if you could just talk to us a little bit about some of the research that you have.
Sure. So I think we have upwards between like 25 and like 30 million in grants through our department right now. A lot of our research does focus on substance use disorder treatment and really providing those services to the underserved populations. Some of the projects that we have working on is providing resources to minorities with substance use disorder, as well as minorities with an HIV population with also substance use disorder. And not only services, but also education. We have a huge grant that is training literally hundreds of community healthcare workers. It's that people who want to get involved in helping others with substance use disorder and training them as well as peer coaches to get out into the community, because just recent article in the Journal of Osteopathic Medicine really proved that having peer coaches within a medication-assisted treatment program has beneficial aspects for the patients and can keep them, I would say, more compliant with their treatment.
Absolutely. Well, this is incredibly exciting. And along all of these ways that you've done through your offices, through your research, you have students with you.
We do. We have students from first year almost to fourth year in our office almost every single day. And I would say non-academic physicians really don't understand that, but I think that's what makes the day exciting. And having students of all different grade levels or education levels come in with all different interests too. So, and I would say diverse backgrounds that spark all different types of conversations that are, I would say, enlightening and eye-opening, for both me and their fellow students. We have students who are involved in our grant work as well, in our research. We have students who are writing case reports and helping write curricula for our academic detailing grant. And that is one that I am the principal investigator for, and I really I enjoy the type of work that I do for that grant in terms of educating other providers within New Jersey on how to properly manage opioids. And we take it for granted that a lot understand this, but until we go in and actually meet with them and answer some of their questions, you realize that there's a lot of questions that are left unanswered for them, in their own minds, that we are able to help them with and change the way they practice medicine.
Let's back up one thing. So we're talking a lot about physical medicine and rehab, PM. What is that?
So physical medicine rehab, it's a specialty that that encompasses a lot. It really does. It's especially that's not widely known, and there's two really components of it. One is the physical medicine part that is more of like musculoskeletal treatments for patients, and then there's the rehabilitation part that we get really complicated to people. And I teach students, I said, people go into rehab after something traumatic happens in their lives and they can't go back to living normally. So we are there to help patients understand what the new normal is and help them transition from whatever event that has happened in their lives into that new normal. We see patients with traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury, stroke, and sometimes chronic pain that they've never had a diagnosis and they've never been examined as thoroughly as I think that physiatrists examine people. Yeah.
I'm very happy to say I'm a physical medicine rehab doctor myself, so I completely agree with you there. But you started a residency program.
We did the first physical medicine and rehab residency program in South Jersey.
Oh, congratulations to you on that.
Thanks.
So there's going to be a whole lot of medical students who are going to want me to ask this question, so I'm going to ask it. What advice would you give it to them who want to go into PM&R?
I would say get involved and make yourself known. We don't want to, as one of their educators, I don't want to learn that they are interested in physical medicine rehab the day before they're submitting their application. So from day one, if they have any interest whatsoever, get involved, come up to us in class, let us know what their interests are, and see how we can either help them attend conferences or bring them, I would say getting them involved in clubs or bringing them in on research projects. So all of that can bolster their CVs when it comes time to apply to residency.
How competitive is this residency?
It's extremely competitive. I would say that the culture of the competitive nature of PM&R is really changing, and it's escalating. I think that PM&R really offers a fantastic lifestyle, and it also allows providers to have a niche focus on certain patient populations that they can treat. And even in our department, one physiatrist practice looks different than another physiatrist practice. And we just actually had a visiting student on elective, and he came up to me and said, I have never seen anything like this before in any of my other rotations in PM&R, that we are able to offer so many different services to patients all with under one roof.
Well, you just brought it back to patients. So I would say that probably the majority of people listening to this have some musculoskeletal problem, concern, issue. What advice do you give to your patients?
So my general advice, first of all, and this is individually tailored to all of them, is that we have to get you moving. We have to keep you moving in some way. And whatever the condition or disability is, we can find ways to help you, one, ambulate or move from point A to point B, and also exercise so you can have good cardiovascular health. And if we have to work on weight management, on pain control, on specific joint-related issues, we could do all of that within our office to keep them moving. And then that's moving within their external world. But I also talk to patients that we have to keep you moving internally. And that's where osteopathic manipulation comes in, where you can lay your hands on a patient, feel where tissues or joints don't move, and that validates their concerns, and what their symptoms are. And they say, well, one, no one has laid their hands on me like this before. And in other times, all of my imaging is negative, my labs are negative, so why do I have these symptoms? And we could tell them, well, because you have somatic dysfunction, and we could fix that in the visit. And so many of our patients say that when they leave our office, they feel better when they walk in, and they can't say that for many other specialties. And that always makes us feel good, because we know that we're sending people out better than they came in.
I love that. I think I've always said, we have the best specialty in that way, that so much of medicine is to prolong life, but we're about improving quality of life, right? So I agree with you wholeheartedly. You're a busy guy. What do you do for fun?
Oh, yes. So at home, I have a wife and 3 kids at home, and they keep us busy. We also and we demonstrate this for our kids, that you have to remain physically active no matter how old you get. And we really focus on nutrition. So I would credit my wife to this. We have a huge vegetable garden, as well as chickens and beehives and fruit trees. And we use all of that to make a lot of our own food at home. And so our kids know where food comes from. So we can say, we're making a dessert. Can you run out to the chicken coop and grab some eggs? And they know where the eggs come from now. Or we can ask them to go grab some herbs from the garden, and they can tell different herbs from one another. So and it's really hard for kids not to say that they don't want to eat something when they helped grow it. So it's a really good it's a good way to get kids to try new foods.
I love that. Our experience is a bit different. I grew up in the inner city, so having chickens are not something that I even can begin to understand. But I will let our audience know that he went and named the chickens, and one of which was called Chicken Parm.
Chicken Parm, yes.
And when Chicken Parm died, I have not been the same.
She was my favorite chicken as well.
Oh, yeah, so I guess this podcast is in honor of Chicken
Yes,
Parm.
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So Dr. Bailey, I want to thank you so much for being here today, talking a little bit about what you do and what the Institute does. I think that the Institute is everything we talk about, right? Excellence in education, excellence in research, and excellence in patient care. So I want to thank you.
Yeah.
Our mission. And
Yes.
I want to thank you for really taking the lead in that and getting into now Vineland area, which is so underserved.
Mm-hmm.
So again, our mission to treat the underserved. So I want to thank you for all that you do. And I want to thank our audience today for tuning in to Podcast with the Dean to hear about Dr. Bailey and the amazing work that NMI is doing. Stay tuned because he's only beginning. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next month. Bye.